There you are. Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a. Let me just see what's going on here. For some reason, my chat screen is not coming up properly. Let's hope that it works. If it doesn't, I'll stop and start again. Jody, could you perhaps just write something to me to see if the chat works? And if not, I'll restart it on a different thing. Let me know that you've done it so I know that it's working or not, as the case may be. Maybe if I do a pop-out screen, it might make it work better. I'll try anything I know. There we go. Looks like the... Hi, Amber. Good to see you. Apparently the pop-out screen works even if the other one doesn't, so that's good to know for future references. Hi, Jody. Okay, good. So remind me if the pop-out screen is, if the chat screen is wrong again. Yeah, I can see it now, but I couldn't see anything at all before. That was my problem. But then I had the brilliant brainwave. What if I pull the pop-up screen out? Will it work? And it did. Yay. So good afternoon to you all. Good evening, good morning, whatever the time is, wherever you are. This is DearMamaSal, and we are here on Valentine's Day. Well, Valentine's weekend, I like to call it. And I thought what we'd do today is talk a little bit more about loving ourselves, because I'm pretty sure that we've talked about loving everybody else. And now I thought it was time, let's just talk about loving ourselves. Amber, in the meantime, you asked, how is the new house? Well, I've been living here for a month, Amber, but it's really amazingly, what can I say, bright. And this is how bright it is midwinter, and I don't have a light on. Look at this. And it is so bright. Let me show you. It is so bright that 3 days ago, I think, I planted some butter lettuce, and they are already jumping out to meet the world. Isn't that incredible? So I just want to keep them covered so they will solve water. And so for those of you who like gardening, yeah, it is obviously going to be a great place for me to start seedlings and do things, which I'm already doing. And so today we're going to be talking about loving ourselves. And I found this incredible thing, this acronym, and it is FLY. F-L-Y. First, love yourself. So we did an experiment a couple of weeks ago where I challenged everybody to start each day by doing something for yourself. Food, what about my hair? Oh, you mean I did it? I was out partying last night. I went to the community fun fight for Valentine's Day. And so I actually put curlers in my hair for a while, and it's just like, and by the way, the people here, they they don't phone first before they visit. They just visit. And anyway, I'll talk to you about that on a broadcast. So first, love yourself. And how many of you have continued that practice where you start each day, or you make sure that somewhere in each day you do something for you? And it's amazing how difficult that is, because we're so used to doing things for everybody else. So to actually do something for ourselves is quite a challenge. And I'm trying to think what I did today before people came to visit. No, I know that, Beth. I do know that. And while I think about it, Beth, happy birthday to Victoria and Catherine for tomorrow. I know that. And for those of you who don't know, we've got thoughts and prayers out for Victoria. That's Beth's one daughter. Catherine is the twin. who was in a chemical accident. She had chemicals blow up in her face. So we got her in our thoughts and prayers. And by the way, for those of you who know Lauren, she lost Puddles, her puppy, this past week. And so that was really sad. And Nana is going to be going in to see the specialist about her eyes this week. So let's just keep track of everybody if we can and follow up and support them. For those of you who don't know, we're like an extended family of people. We actually do care in varying degrees because we're human, but we do care about each other, and therefore we try to keep up to date. And so if I've forgotten anybody or left anybody out, just let me know, because it's me and I'm going to forget. So I've tried to think what I've done for me today. I was shocked. I don't mind telling you, I was shocked. I went, anyway, I ate well yesterday. And I was convinced that my blood sugar would be totally out of control. And it ended up being the best blood sugar that I have had in quite a long time. Go figure that one. I have done twice as much exercise in the last 2 weeks as I normally do. And literally, I can prove it. And yet, the weight is still dropping. I think I can still prove that the weight is dropping, but it's just like it should be falling off. Why isn't it? It's just like, okay, so you can see that it is dropping. It's a good sign, right? Going down. But it definitely, I would have thought, for the amount of steps I've put in and how well I've been eating, apparently not. It takes a lot longer to take it off than it does to put it on, apparently. All right, I love this quote. How many of you need this one up on your wall? And if you like these quotes, just contact us and we'll let you know where we found them. So, eat like you love yourself. So let's start with that one. Eat like you love yourself. And I did that last night. I saw dessert and I'm going, when did you last have dessert? And I went, yeah, but blood sugar and all that. And I'm going, when did you last have a dessert? And so I went and had it. And I so enjoyed the first plate of the Chinese. It was a real feast that they had of Chinese food. And I so enjoyed my first plate, I went back for seconds. And that's why I'm so stunned. Thank you, that I ended up with good blood sugar. So I eat like you love yourself. That doesn't always mean that you need to diet. I reckoned last night I ate and said, you deserve this. You've worked really hard. It's the Valentine's Day feast. Enjoy your food. And then I came home, because Jody taught me this, and went, okay, I know I've had far too much sugar and carbs. I had rice, I had noodles, and I came home and just went, okay, let's have a look at what do we have that's protein. And I ate some nuts, and I ate some cheese, and I ate some deli meat. And, I just snacked on it during the rest of the evening before I went to bed. And it balanced. Yeah, sometimes love really is a chocolate chip cookie, Jody is telling us. And, Jody, I really thank you for all you have taught me, because I ate without, a little bit of guilt at the beginning, but once I started to tuck in, that was gone. I will tell you all about the bun fight in a vlog, because, it was quite interesting. All right, so how about move? First of all, hang on a second. Eat like you love yourself. So let me ask you, when you say, do I eat like I love myself? What comes up for you? That would be my question. Do you think, I probably could use a little bit more control over the carbs, or what was it? I was talking to somebody yesterday about cotton candy, and I'm going, oh, that sounds so good. And I, with a great sense of humor, I said, yeah, I used to love that too, which is why I've got a problem now. But let me tell you, if I can, let me tell you, I've got a little jar here of Werther's Originals. Every now and then I allow myself to have one. And also, I got myself a bag of, where are they? Can I find them easily? I think I can. Okay. Russell Stover's no sugar added candies, which would go to go in that jar as well. So to me, I'm learning, thanks to the help Jodie's given me, to learn that I can keep control and still, have those moments where I just thoroughly enjoy it. It's all part of the big picture. Yeah. Jodie's saying, glad you enjoyed yourself with your special dinner. It's all part of the big picture. You see, I think, quite honestly, Jodie, it's more about portion control than anything else. And I had a little bit of everything. Just a little bit of everything, and that was it. So move like you love yourself. How about that one? I have done more movement in the last couple of weeks than, I've done in a long time. And yet, as I said, it doesn't seem to be moving the weight yet. And I sort of looked at it and went, well, maybe if you did it for more than 2 weeks, it might help. It took you more than 2 weeks to put it all on. So, you got to make a bigger concerted effort to take it off. So move like you love yourself. Can I get any suggestions from anybody? By the way, Beth, I want you to thank you. I passed on your stretch. I was saying to the lady I was sitting next to yesterday about if you want to find, she's got a stooping problem, and she really stoops like this. I mean, I think I've got a bit of a stooping problem, but her butt is way out. And I said to her, one of my viewers called Beth gave me a really good tip. And that is lie on the floor and put your feet on the wall. And she said, why? And I said, you'll find out when you do it. And, I don't tell Jodie this because, she worries about me. But I was busy trying to plug in something in my bedroom, and it was behind one of the wall units that I have in my bedroom. And so I managed to get to the socket by moving out one of the cubies. That was easy enough, but it was the angle at which I had to do it. And I was on the floor. And I was on the floor on my back. That was the only way that I could plug it in, was to get on my back and plug it in, right? And then I'm going, now what? And I'm going, don't let Jodie see this. Jodie will worry if she sees this. And then I could hear her going, where's your phone? Did you have your phone with you in case you get into trouble? And no. And where's Alexa? Is Alexa? And oh, I don't want to wake her up. I'm going, I did it all wrong. But, what I did was just go one step at a time, Jodie. Hi there, Lauren. Oh, Lauren's also upset. But what I did was I went, okay, the first thing would be, can I get onto my side? And I should be able to, because I've got the wall unit on one side of me and my bed on the other. I should be able to do that. And I did. And I went, that's good. Now, can I get on my front? And I did, by doing the same movement that I did to get onto my side. And then I went, okay, can you get onto your knees? Because that would really help. If you can actually get your knees underneath your body. And so if you could have seen me, I was doing this sort of almost like a dog does, and I got my knees under my body and I went, okay, well, then we should be pretty good. And I literally rocked back on, when I was on my knees, I rocked back until I got onto my feet. And then I got up and I went, yep. But it does tell me, in terms of move like you love yourself, it does tell me that I may want to seriously consider going to yoga or doing something to build up my core strength a bit more. I cannot expect it to survive if I don't do the work. And I'm not sure if walking alone will do it. I think I need to be, but you know, I will be so disruptive in a yoga class. You know, that's that's the thing that worries me. Um, anyway, we'll talk about that. So let me hear from you guys. In what way can you move? By the way, um, if you're saying, well, I can't move because I'm this, that, and the other, Lauren is in a wheelchair. Lauren, you do not have use of your body from which point? I just want to make sure I get the information correct, because I really think you are the epitome, great word. You know, you're the benchmark of what is possible to do. If you can believe it, Lauren, who spends her life in a wheelchair, got herself a fitness watch, and she is, you know, she does not, she's paralyzed from the waist down, right? Now, you think that's a pretty good reason not to have a fitness watch, right? I don't know about the rest of you. But Lauren, after watching some stuff that I was doing with my fitness watch, decided she wanted one. Anyway, she got one, and some days she beats me, little so and so, because she has decided that she wants to move more. All right. And it's like, if you want to move more, you will. All right. And so, Lauren, we will support you now that we know that that's what you want to do. We will support you by holding you accountable. How's that? By the way, do you know who I have as my accountability partner for movement? I thought I might share that with you. And you'll probably be quite surprised. Anybody want to take a guess? Who do you think I have as an accountability partner on movement? You want to take a guess? I'll let you know. Erin? Yeah, that would be a good one for you to have, Lauren. It's actually Benji's daddy, Gramps, Grampy. I found out that he's training to go into an event, and he was looking for support, and I said, you got it. Kez, you know, hi there, Kez, good to see you. Benji would be way out of my league, right? I mean, you know, and Beth's saying, you know, that I should have myself as the person. I find I just do it better when I can, you know, check in with somebody. And I agree that being able to check in with myself is the ultimate. But actually, John, Benji's daddy, and I, we send each other texts every day on how we did. Now, his numbers way outdo mine, and that's not the point. He knows that I'm trying to do my best, and he's been really supportive. I did the whole of February with him. And of course, I was very impressive because I was doing all the movement with the move. So I would ask you all to have a look at yourself and say, you know, am I moving like I love myself? Or am I pushing myself too far? Some of you. And what's too far? You're saying, well, I can do it, therefore it's fine. Yeah, but make sure it's in balance. All right. Because I've done it where I have done way more than I should on things and then paid the price for it later. And it might not be in the next day or two. It might be in the next year or two that I paid the price for it. So just think about that. How about speak like you love yourself? Um, how about that for this week? Let's try not to put ourselves down, even in humor. Do you think that's possible to do? I do a lot of self-deprecating humor. I've got to admit that. You know, when I when I am rude about myself. Yeah, Beth's saying yeah, thanks, Beth. Beth's saying that she pushes herself too far and she has nobody that can help her except herself. Yeah. Well, I disagree with Beth, quite honestly. I disagree with you because I think we can help you if you allow us to. All right. Which is if you know, if you keep being accountable, which you know you are to a certain degree, but just so that we can see the numbers every day and see whether you are looking after yourself or pushing yourself. I think from your knowledge, Beth, maybe come up to what is a good day. Not where you are lazy, because you're not lazy, but a day when this is the sort of average I would like to sort of try and keep to, knowing that if you then go and do your other job afterwards, it's going to be higher. That sort of thing. Let us know. Hi, Erin. You've been in every broadcast this weekend, just really quiet. I haven't been feeling too well the last couple of weeks. Well, we're always delighted to see you here, Erin. And, bless you for coming in to tell us that. We send you a big hug. Okay. And Beth is saying Charles, her husband, will say, go rest. He goes to sleep and I go back up when he doesn't know, so I can finish my tasks of the day. Yeah. Jody's saying, Erin, it's so good to see you. Sorry you haven't been feeling well. Yeah, we're all sorry to hear that. So how about that? Shall we speak like we love ourselves this week? Do you think we could do that? And what sort of things do you say about yourself that are not really very kind? Anybody got any input on that? Or rather, what do you say to yourself that is kind? I took, you remember all those plants I bought with me and I said I thought they were dead? They are. The reason I know that is because all the grass is growing out around them, but they are not showing any sign of life whatsoever. The grass and the earth started to sprout, but they have just not done that. So I have I'm starting to get them in a place where I can start replanting things in those containers. um, so yeah, I agree. Something, Jody? Jody's saying, wonderful idea, being mindful of how we speak about ourselves. Powerful awareness. I think so. And I, I really was quite surprised when I went to. I keep wanting to tell you about last night, but I'm going. It really needs to go in a vlog because it was so much, and I'll leave it like that because there were so many different things, little parts of the puzzle that came out. Baby steps. First time in 2 years, I told my boss I'm exhausted, and I have nothing left to clean her building today. Good. Felt like a failure, but I had to do it. It wasn't safe for me to drive. Yes, that is caring about yourself, Beth. All right. And this is the whole thing. If you are exhausting yourself to the point where you can't think straight, you are not safe to drive. And not only are you putting yourself at risk, but with all due respect, you're putting every driver that's coming towards you at risk as well, and those in front of you and behind you. So that's it. Be more aware of that, Beth, if you can. And we would love to support you in that. How about act like you love yourself? All right. In what way could you act in a way to love yourself more? I really have found out that in my new house, sitting on the futon, editing or doing things on the computer whilst I sort of half-heartedly watch the news, which is frightening the heck out of me. But while I'm doing that, I'm going, I really like it here. I really like sitting here, in this big wide space, the ballroom, as I call it, and going, I had planned to have a coffee table there because, I used to have one until they broke it in the move. And then I thought, I'm going to treat myself to a pop-up coffee table. Do you know what I mean? One of those ones where it's flat, but then you can lift the lid up into a desk type area. Now, I'm also aware that I'm probably going to ruin the futon by sitting on it, all day long, not all day long, but, when I do, because it's foam. And I thought, something, Sal, if you do ruin it, two things. Number one, you can get cushions to put on it. And I said, yes, but what if I have guests? And I go, Sal, you've got a double mattress that will go over the top of this and make one heck of a nice bed. So don't even worry about it. Okay. So I was speaking to myself in a way that supported me, but also I acted in a way. I like sitting here, and I'm trying to work out where am I going to put all my desk type stuff? And I'm going, if I had one of those pop-up desks, I could have everything in the desk. I could have cubies underneath it because some of them have got space for them, and keep all my day-to-day admin stuff in there. And it would work really well. And of course, then I started to Google them, and now I've got to order one. Erin is saying, I think I need to be more aware of how I speak to myself. I think I've been pretty bad, maybe. I think you've been pretty down on yourself. Yes, Erin, I think so too. I think it's time, mind you, Erin, you know me. If you need more time to feel sorry for yourself, you go right ahead. But I don't think that is what you want. And I don't think it's what your daddy would have wanted either. And so, but I do understand that you needed that time and that you do need that time. It was the same thing, Erin. And if I could give you this example, yesterday was Valentine's, or not yesterday, on Valentine's Day, what was it, Friday? It was the anniversary of my mum passing. And, I could choose whether to make that a miserable day or a fun one. And what I did was I planted seeds, Erin, because what I did was I said to myself, what is it that gave my mom such great delight? And I thought she loved flowers. She loved planting them, pricking them out, moving them from one place to another, and then eventually getting them in the garden. She loved that. And I'm going, okay, Mom, it's your day, and I'm going to honor you by planting seeds. I just didn't expect the butter lettuce to jump out of the earth the way that it did. All right, so Erin is saying, hang on a second, let me do Kez first. Kez is saying, in the past, when I've asked what is special about me, I have said nothing. But since being around people that have made me feel more confident, say, I have a good smile and I have good giving. I'm good at giving thoughtful gifts. All right, so Kez, your challenge for this week, and come back and tell us next week, all right? Your challenge is to find 10 things that are good about you. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to think about, could you manage to find 10 things that are good about me? And if so, reel them out. Let's hear what they are. Erin's saying, I feel as though I cannot do enough for my friends and family who are suffering. We will never do enough for our friends and families who are suffering. Erin? I want to actually take a moment to hit you with a 2x4. And for those of you who don't know, that's Erin, because I know from experience of many years of knowing you now, that you do more for your friends to support them than most people. The fact that you are not Superwoman or, a multimillionaire or all those other things, beside the point. And the fact that every now and then in our lives, we don't have enough space to be able to give to everybody. That's okay too. I got the magic light. Do I look worse? All right. So it's about, Erin, I felt really badly, sometimes in my life where I've had to cancel the broadcast. And I go, this is not about letting them down. This is about you need to look after you. You're going to get sick if you don't take some time for yourself. Okay. So Beth is saying, I had one success. I feel depressed and tired. So instead of starving myself, I am eating apple pie with ice cream. I guess that's progress. Beth, always be aware that I always remember that from reading Louise Hay many, 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 many years ago. One of the things that stuck in my mind that whenever I was sick and tired, I would learn to ask myself, what am I sick and tired of? Because I found, thanks to Louise Hay, that there was nearly always a correlation between that sick and tired and somebody pissing me off. Do you know what I mean? When I really looked at it, it was like, what am I sick and tired of? And it would be, I'm sick and tired of that person talking to me like that. Or I'm sick and tired of trying to fit 258 things into 24 hours. Or I'm sick and tired of people not respecting me when they should. And, and blah, 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 and, and it was amazing how when I asked myself, what am I sick and tired of? It has helped me be a healthier person. Even if I start feeling like I'm catching a cold, I'm going, where am I not looking after myself well enough that I caught a cold? Why is my immune system compromised that I caught a bit of a cold? And what am I going to do right now to build it up in a hurry so that that doesn't take hold? Do you understand? It's like, I really do believe that stuff. Erin is saying, I hear you, I hear you. I already heard you say that in my head. Of course you did, Erin. When I was sick this week, well, I'm stubborn and I don't always listen. Well, Erin, and I love you even though you are stubborn and you don't always listen. And I love the fact that you can laugh at yourself, and I love the fact that you are who you are, and you are allowed to have good days and bad days. Hi, Judith. You are allowed to have good days and bad days, Erin. Give yourself permission to not be perfect all the time, please. And Beth is saying, it's work. They keep calling me in. I need a day off and I'm going, or else I'm going to flip out. I know it's work, Beth. And they're not going to stop calling you because you always go in. Or they're not going to stop calling you because you've got a position within the company that means you're on the call list. And so, yeah, it's setting your boundaries a bit harder. And, take a demotion if you have to. But, this is, you're pushing your body beyond its limits and you already have issues. So I just, it's up to you. What you do is your business, Beth, not mine. But I will continue to keep reminding you because I love you. So, right, Beth says, I'm off tomorrow and turning off my phone. Yeah. And, I would text the person that's likely to call you and say, just to tell you, I am overworked at the moment in my body, and I need to take a day off. I just want to warn you, I'm turning my phone off. And just please don't even try to contact me. I'm turning my phone off. It's not that I'm ignoring you. I'm turning my phone off for my health. Hi, Nyasha. Good to see you, honey. So act as though you love yourself. I think, Beth, that would be a great act of love. I really do. And how about this one? You are always with yourself, so you might as well enjoy the company. How many of you enjoy your own company? How many of you entertain yourself? How many of you laugh at yourself? How many of you don't need an external person to brighten up your day? You can do it for yourself. You see, if you have learned those skills, then you are going to be happy for the rest of your life. What I did for so long in my life, and I don't mind admitting it, what I did for so long in my life was I waited for other people to fill those parts of my life. I'd wait for people to love me, to feel loved. I would wait for people to amuse me, to be amused. I would wait for people, all those it always was dependent on other people. I just didn't do it for myself. And I think a lot of you know that this stage of my life, I have decided I am worthy of this. It is okay to do this and make myself laugh. It is okay, to. What I found out since I've been in this new house, I've got this dirty, great washing machine here. It's the biggest washing machine I've ever had, and I'm on my own. But I found out two things about it. Number one, it's big enough to take the runners that I have on the floor, the long carpets. It takes two of those without a problem at all. Two, not one, two. I just fold them up, boom, 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 straight in, next one in. But here's something else. For those of you who've got a Darth Vader mask, a CPAP machine, I found out that, I can throw my CPAP machine into my washing machine with some soap and some bleach and just set it on the gentle cycle and go, bye-bye, I'll see you later. And it gives it, a pretty thorough cleaning, thank you very much indeed. And then when it's finished, I take it out and I rinse the whole thing out thoroughly, and then I hang it up to dry. So why didn't I think of that before? It's just like, it's such a messy thing to try and clean in a sink. Why don't I just huck it in the washing machine? Now, I'm certain everybody's going to tell me why I shouldn't, but it works. Erin's saying, I've enjoyed my own company, always laughed at myself, but I just thought it was only a child syndrome. Gosh, no. It's I think if you can amuse yourself, that is mental health. I really do think that. You're not waiting for somebody else to amuse you. I love it when I, when I trip and I go, enjoy your trip, so. What did I say yesterday that stunned a lot of people? Oh, yes, they asked, where did I come from? In terms of where had I moved from? I said the far west, not to be confused with the far east. And they sort of looked at me and I went, that's White Rock, which is where I used to live in the White Rock area, which is literally, 15 minutes away. But it was so funny because people were cracked up laughing. The far west. I said, oh, yeah, that was the far west. It is now. Louise Hay, who I just quoted, also said this: loving ourselves works miracles in our lives. I found that. I definitely have to say that since I learned I don't love myself all the time. I'm not perfect. But since I've learned to do it a lot more, I've been a much happier person. And it was also said that your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship that you have. Okay? Marnie's coming tomorrow, as some of you know. Marnie is a very, very dear friend of mine. And, one of the first things I did, because I knew she was coming, was buy dog treats for Grover. Because, it's like Marnie will bring Grover. And so I'm really looking forward to being able to give him a treat. And, the funny thing is one of the neighbors here came to visit me today, without warning, came to visit me today. And she brought a puppy with her. And, I was very excited about that. And I said, hold on a second, I got a treat. And she said, what? And I said, I've got a dog treat. Let me get it. If it's okay that I give your dog a treat. And she said, why would you have dog treats? You don't have a dog. I said, no, but I love dogs. And dogs visit me. Why would I not have treats? Duh. And I will have a dog. By the way, it was so funny because they told me that we're not allowed to have fences here. I'm walking around the neighborhood, I do. And I notice an awful lot of people with fences on their properties. keeping their doggies in. And so when I was at the bun fight yesterday, I went, oh, could somebody explain to me the double standard? I heard you're not allowed to have fences, but everybody's got fences for their dogs. So am I allowed to have a fence or not? You know me, nothing subtle about me. Who's lying to me? It's not what I said, but it's what I meant. And then I heard no 6-foot fences, but you are allowed a fence up to a certain height. I'm not quite sure what it is, if you have a puppy. So I'm going, okay, fine. So I will discuss that with the management to make sure I've got the right size fence. Okay. And I'm going to have one because, I'm going to have a puppy. All right. So Nyasha's saying, oh, how sweet of you to offer her doggy a treat. Well, I'd offer you a treat if you came to visit me, Nyasha. And for sure, if you bring a doggy, it was so cute because Marnie's, I said to Marnie, I know that you are on a diet plan, so I just want to know what can I feed you that, you'll be happy with. And she said low carb, and I said fine. And then I wrote back to her and I said, is Grover on low carb too? She didn't answer that. She just, well, I won't tell you what she said. Because I can't remember. How about this quote? I am learning to love myself. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Do any of you agree with them? That learning to love yourself is the hardest thing. Kez is saying, I live with my cat, so I laugh at myself, thinking to myself that if someone else saw me having a conversation with my cat, they would think I am crazy. Kez, I take your cat story and I want to tell you, I talk to my robot cleaner. Clarence, my cleaner, my robotic cleaner, I talk to him. And by the way, I checked with Yvonne because I bought her one called Vinny the Vacuum. I bought her one and I asked her, I need to know, do you talk to him? And she said, all the time. Watch out for this. Vinny, watch out for this. So I don't think you're crazy talking to your cat when I talk to my vacuum cleaner. And he found his way home again twice now. I'm so impressed. You have a docking station for this vacuum, and the first night he couldn't find it. It was so sad. I nearly cried. I literally nearly cried. And I held him. And I took him back and I said, let me show you where your home is. There you go. Get juiced, And then the next night he found it. I was so happy. And was it a fluke, Was it a fluke? Did he just, happen to be in the area? But yesterday he found his way back as well. You will be horrified to know how much dust is and I know how much dust is getting pushed up because how much dust he's picking up every day. And it's because I've got boxes and I'm unpacking them. And you can probably hear my sinuses are going. Beth is saying the hardest thing for me was letting my daughter be an adult. Yes, I know, Beth. I remember it well. I thought she'd think that I didn't love her if I wasn't there for her every need she had. I was wrong. Our love is stronger than ever. And I want to thank you for trusting the process, Beth. I know how hard it was for you to let her grow up. And I am so proud of you that you did. I mean, you had lots of reasons to hang on. And you had lots of reasons to believe that she couldn't cope. But you know something? I have spent my life, donating time to things like, I've been sat on boards of mental health associations. I've tried to give my time to people in all sorts of different areas, people with lupus, people with whatever. And the one thing I learned so solidly is, boy, people are capable of far more than they realize if you allow them to. The biggest problem most people have is the people who care for them. Because the people who care for them don't want them to hurt themselves, or don't want them to do too much, or don't want them to learn. because then they won't be needed. That we don't realize that's what it was. That we don't realize that that's what it was, is that we don't want to let go because maybe they don't need us. It's a really weird thing. Yes, Beth, you were holding her back, but you know something? I know, and everybody who knows you were doing it with good intent. You just didn't see that you were holding her back. If you had seen it earlier, you would have reacted earlier. You just needed a couple of 2x4s. All right, so Niasha's saying, I love all things technological, all right? And upon my birthday every year, I cook a special meal. Veggie fried rice and chicken. Oh, very nice. And I make myself a drink. Watermelon mixed with Sprite. Wow. Isn't that great? It was a... I think if you have a drink that you like, it's a really good idea to enjoy it every now and then. I think it's wonderful. And, I am certain that people going, watermelon with Sprite? You're going, yep, and I love it. You see, don't worry about whether anybody else does. The point is, you love it. And I think anybody in the broadcast right now who's ever, been pregnant will tell you it's amazing what the body craves every now and then, right? If you've ever been pregnant, apparently, that's the one thing. Suddenly your body wants to eat the most incredible mixture of foods that don't normally go together. And, it's just fine. If that's what you want, that's what you get. And I always admire Benji for that, because I can remember when she was first pregnant with Juliana, she was having some of the most peculiar cravings. And Benji would text me and said, well, I'm just at picking up for Judy because she's decided she now wants to have this with this. And I used to burst out laughing and going, isn't that lovely that he's out there getting that for her? I used to love him for that, and I still do. And again, love yourself first, because that's who you're going to be spending the rest of your life with. Right? And if you can't find the time, effort, or ability to love yourself, why will anybody else love you? If you don't have the ability to love yourself, why would anybody else love you? Right? Okay, how about this one? For those of you who struggle. Loving yourself starts with liking yourself. Do you like yourself? Which starts with respecting yourself. Do you respect yourself? Which starts with thinking of yourself in positive ways. And so when you turn that around, if you don't think about yourself in a positive way, you will not respect yourself. You're showing that you don't respect yourself, in which case you are demonstrating you don't like yourself. So remember this. I try to remind myself that somebody was talking about my artwork, and I nearly said, I'm not really an artist. I throw paint at paper or whatever, and I went, don't do that to yourself. This is an artist who sees you as an artist. Just let it be. And then it was funny because she said something about my use of negative space, right? And I went, yeah, I do like negative space. I find it interesting. Yeah, right. And it's just like, I realize that if I keep putting down my art, right, what I'm putting down is me. Because my art is an expression of me. All right, how about this one? Some of you really need this one. Work on being in love with the person in the mirror who has been through so much, but is still standing, lying, or sitting, depending on what you're capable of doing. Let's think about that. Right? There are an awful lot of people who've been to hell and back, but still have a good attitude. I always quote Erin on this one, because, when you think of what Erin has, coped with in her life, and she still has this incredible attitude most days, not perfect, most days. When I think about Lauren, when I think about Jody, who battled cancer and overcame it, only to get lymphedema, which swelled the whole bottom half of her body, I think up to her navel, that suddenly ballooned out. Do you imagine what that takes to be able to cope with that, with your self-esteem, where you used to have a really great figure and suddenly you are a balloon? You know what that takes to cope with that? And then to systematically reverse that process? I am so grateful to so many of you for what you have taught me. Nyash is saying, yes, Benji is a role model for all modern day men out there. I do admire the way he treats Judy and his girls. And those daddy-daughter dates he does, yeah. He said it's to show his girls. Yeah, I'm always amazed when he says, I'm off to LA and I'm taking Mia with me. You're going, how many daddies would do that? Go on a business trip and take their, 4-year-old daughter with them. Or, I know that last year he was going to New York and he took Juliana with him to New York. You go, really, when you think about it, how many daddies would do that? And I don't know many. I really don't know many. Okay, I'll wait for the rest of what Nyasha has to say there. So, give yourself credit for being who you are, and you've been through a lot in your life, all of you. We talk about certain people quite a bit, but all of you have been through a lot already in your lives. We each have our own cross to bear. We each have struggled in some way, and we're still here and we're still trying. See, I think that's the magical thing about the Dear Mama Sal viewers. Every one of you is here because you are continuing to want to be a better person than the one you were yesterday. I think that's magical. And I join you. That's why I do it. I want to keep improving as well. Katrina Mayer said this. Listen up on this one. Loving yourself isn't vanity. It is sanity. All right? It isn't vanity. It is sanity. To love yourself is sanity. All right? And Nyasha will be the first person to tell you that when she kept listening to all the negative input that she was getting, she was depressed. When she learned to control, put a boundary down in her mind to that negative coming in, she suddenly found herself not in depression anymore. And, Nyasha, I just really give you credit for that because you did such a good job of learning that you couldn't stop the negativity being fired at you, but you could control how you react to it. And 10 out of 10, you did an awesome job. And I'm not surprised that you're not feeling depression anymore because you are controlling what was depressing you. That's the whole thing. You were controlling it. It's a sign of your sanity. All right, how about this one? Love yourself enough to take the actions required for your happiness. Enough to cut yourself loose from the drama-filled past. Enough to set a high standard for relationships. Enough to feed your mind and body in a healthy manner. And enough to forgive yourself. I don't know what that brings up for you, but let us know. And while you're typing, let me tell you something. That enough to feed your mind and body in a healthy manner really triggered me because, Jody said to me when I first got diagnosed as pre-diabetic, she said, I need you to know this is a marathon, not a sprint. You're going to do a lot of learning. and adjusting. And it's going to take a while for you to find out what foods spike your blood sugar and what foods don't, which ones you can get away with and which ones you can't get away with. And it doesn't mean that you can't eat them. It just means be aware that these do a number on you and therefore don't eat them so often. For example, I automatically thought that, eating oats was a good thing. Well, oats can spike your blood sugar. So when I eat it is important. If I'm going to have oats, and I do try to have oatmeal at least 3 times a week for, it helps with various things. But it's just like I am aware that I need to eat it, earlier in the day, not have it for dinner. It's just like, no, it would be nice to have some now, but it's not necessarily good for you. And so, when I think of all the things that Jody has taught me, and she's taught me a lot, as I said, when I came home from the bun fight down at the community hall this last night, I literally walked in, Jody. I wish you could have seen me. And I went, okay, Jody, I know what I need. I need protein and water, and protein and water, and then some more protein and water. And I just need to keep doing that until I go to bed. And, obviously I'll be up half the night peeing, but, never mind, because what I need to do is control the sugar. And it worked. I think I was only up 3 times. Now, how many of you agree with this one? That the more you love yourself, the less nonsense you will tolerate. How many of you have noticed that? Jody's busy saying you are brilliant at working within the framework you've discovered is supportive of your body's needs. Yeah, Jody, I'm not brilliant at it, but I've got a much better idea of what to have. And, I laugh. I went shopping yesterday. And I was, I'm looking at what I bought, and I went, fruits and vegetables, very good. Cheese, and cheese. Different sorts of cheese. I bought brie cheese. I bought goat cheese wrapped in cranberries. With cinnamon. Very good for you. And then I bought another cheese. Oh, I bought. What was the other cheese? The reason I'm getting it out is because I got to remind myself to get it again. I used to eat this in England. Double Gloucester. Oh, if you like cheese, this is so good. And for some reason, I was looking at things that that I could feed Marnie, and I thought cheese plate would with fruit be a really good idea. So I got different cheeses, and Double Gloucester was on one of the cheeses I got, and I wanted to. I had when I was busy getting the protein up last night, Jody, I had 3 slices of this, and I went, oh, that was worth eating Chinese for. All right, so Nyasha's saying, I can definitely see a change because this week at work, I was given the boss post for the day because she wasn't coming in that day in particular. And thus she instructed me to dismiss the team. You got responsibility? Nyasha, how did that feel? How did that feel? And I got laughing cow as well. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that normally I wouldn't have had a whole different array of cheeses, right? Because everybody says that you shouldn't eat cheese or dairy, don't eat dairy. Well, guess what? Why do you think I got nails like mine? But then the other thing I was looking at, I bought grapes and strawberries, apples and oranges. All right. Yeah, and I was looking at it and I'm going, I bought bread a few days ago, but it was multi-grain sourdough I decided to buy. All right, hang on a second. Let me see what Erin says here. Enough to let go of the drama makes me realize there are probably some people in my life who I love, but they are all about drama. So how do you get rid of them? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I know some people in your life that are all about drama. Yeah, totally get it. So do you want me to do a broadcast about that, Erin? About drama and how to get rid of it out of your life? Would that help you? Because we've had a few broadcasts around it, but I don't think I've ever done one which is identify the drama and then here are some ideas of how to get rid of it. If you would like me to do that, we'll put it up for Friday's skill work. All right, so Niash is saying to dismiss the team at a particular time, to which I did. And also she told me not to say that she wasn't coming. And of course I didn't. Back then, everything I was told I had to repeat, but now I know better. You know something? I bet your self-esteem is a whole lot different after being asked to dismiss the team. And I'm just so proud of you, Nyasha. You've become a godparent, and now people are starting to see that you are capable of taking responsibility. Yes. We saw it. They didn't. Until you started acting in a way that said you had changed. You see, when you grew up with your actions, they started treating you differently. I want you to see that. So here's the question. What if you simply devoted this year to loving yourself more? What would you do? Right? If I said to you, okay, your job for the next year is to love yourself more. Okay. I would go and get 2 teeth pulled. And I don't want to do it because it's going to be painful. I got 2 teeth that need to be pulled. I haven't told any of you because I know how you worry, but one of the things that happened to me all the time I was moving was I had toothache. And I mean, good toothache. Here. Look at that. Nash was saying, I felt very good inside. It was like, oh my, is this really happening? Is this me? But Sal? Yeah, well, I'll wait for the other half of that. Yeah, I'm so proud of you, really. Judith's so proud of you as well. Look at that. Judith's also saying, so proud of you. Yeah, Jody, that's why I didn't tell you. Jody's going, oh, son, I'm so sorry to hear that. You can imagine. She's such a mother hen. And that's why I couldn't tell her, because I knew if I told her I got toothache, she'd be worried sick and telling me not to lean over and not to do this and not to do that. And, really, she's got enough on her mind. She didn't need. So if I really love myself, I would do that. If I really love myself, what else would I do? There was another one. It's going to cost me money. I'll think of it. I can't think of it right now, but yeah, definitely the teeth was one. Oh, if I really love myself, I go and get my A1C test done. Anybody who wants to nag me about that, hit me with a 2x4. It is time that I go do it. And if I do it, I will show you that I'm looking after myself. A1C being the way that they check how much glucose is running around your body. Judith's asking, how are your feet, Sal? Well, you know what I did today, Judith? If I walk back, I might be able to show you. No. I don't know if you remember, but probably 18 months, 2 years ago, Judy gave me a pair of Uggs. Okay, Erin, it's on the list. Jody, that's what we're doing next week. Drama, how to control it. All right, so the Uggs, she bought them for me, and I wear them occasionally, but not very often. And you know what I was thinking was Uggs, these are knitted Uggs, all right? So they've got solid bottoms to them, but the top is all knitted. I take it off and show you, but I'd probably fall over and then you'd all panic. And I thought, that would be a really good thing for me to wear in the house, even if they don't match what I'm wearing, which today they don't because they're gray and I'm wearing browns. And not only would they expand a bit if my feet swell, but they also will control the swelling a bit as well because they are surrounding my feet. And they have really good support underneath my feet. So I'm doing a test to see how they work because one of the things I was thinking about is if that works for me. And by the way, if I could lift my foot high enough, you can see that they come up nearly to my knees, right? That means that all my leg up to my knees is being contained to a certain extent, which hopefully will cause the blood to circulate better and therefore the other fluids to circulate as well. That's my theory. And I'll let you know how it works, Judith. Thank you for asking me. I really appreciate it. They've been pretty bad. Nisha's saying, I think the reason I was so responsible this time around was because my previous boss told me she thought I was stupid and then acted like she didn't. I'm so proud. Yeah, you have every reason to be proud, Nisha. You've demonstrated that you are capable of taking responsibility. All right, Jody, listen to her. Yeah, she's really something, isn't she? Okay, so now we know you had the stress of moving and you were able to keep the vlogs and editing all while having a lot of tooth pain. You want to give me a halo and wings, don't you, Jody? Get over it. One of the things we know, Jody, is, distract, right? If you're having whatever it is, distract yourself. And, I did. Also, I was quite surprised how many people appeared to be enjoying my my moving horrors. And by the way, I did get a letter from the mover, and it was pretty long and intense. And what I decided to do, and I know this may surprise you because I normally just handle these things on my own, I literally sent it to Benji and said, what do you think? You see, I wanted because Benji's very clinical, right? Benji sees things in a very clinical way. He doesn't get caught up in the emotion. And there were a lot of triggers for me in that letter that he wrote. He probably didn't realize that he was doing it. But, there was a lot of stuff that was manipulative in there. And I say he probably didn't realize because he's a salesperson and he just didn't realize what he was saying a lot of the time. But I decided, I don't think I'm even going to look at this. I've looked at it, but, now I'm going to send it to Benji and see what he thinks. And then, I'll take Benji's input and then I'll decide what to do. So Niesha's saying, I'm so proud because I would normally ask my parents how to handle this situation, but I kept on replaying the previous boss's situation in my mind. I think that gave me the strength to be so authoritative. Yeah, I think you're doing just great. Erin's saying, and if you had told me about your teeth, I would have asked you, when are you going to call the dentist and get your butt there? Yes, it's on my list for this week, even though I'm scared. It is on my list. And I'm going to have to go to a surgeon, I think, Erin, because they're both, I've got one that's broken up here, and I've got another one that's causing problem that's here, and they're both far back in my mouth, and I have a clicking jaw. And so for me to open my mouth too far is a problem. because it might not shut again. So I will probably need to go to a surgeon and have them put me out and do it so that they can control how far my mouth goes, and I'm not awake trying to worry about it. Do you know what I mean? So I'll go and see my dentist and say, okay, how do we set this up that it's safe? um, yeah, so you said Erin and Jody are both going to be on making sure that I get my A1C done. It's also on my list to book that this week. Laughing gas is okay, but they don't use that a lot anymore where I am. But the main thing is that I need to have that jaw controlled, that it doesn't open too far. And that requires that they probably put something inside my mouth to stop me closing it, but also, literally be aware of how much they're forcing it open more. No, it's not my wisdom teeth. I had my wisdom teeth out in my 20s. And I've got a tooth here that's causing a problem. All right, so Judith's saying, I've really enjoyed watching your moving vlogs. It's been quite the journey. I also realize I'm super nosy, so I love seeing it all and not just hearing about it. Thank you. Oh, so Beth saying she took Valium and laughing gas. Wow. She has a TMJ as well. But okay. Yes, the twilight sedative is, I think, I'm not sure what it's called. That's what the surgeon gives. I say the surgeon, it's a dental surgeon, right? Then you go there and they actually feed it through your veins or whatever. And the next thing you awake and it's all done. And it's like, yeah, that's better for me. And I also want to find out from my dentist, can I have the two done on the same? Have to do two different. It's probably going to cost me about $1,000 each. So I've got to be careful. Yeah, at least Judith, exactly. That's why I want to see my dentist. Okay, what would you recommend I do? All right. So how about this one? Fall in love with taking care of yourself, mind, body, spirit. You know, the part of the reason that I did the vlogs was because I wanted to take care of myself. I wanted to make sure that I kept talking about things that were happening to me because I knew that would be healthier for me. How many of you understand that, when I showed emotion, I wanted to show it, I didn't want to bottle it. I wanted to make sure that I got it out and that I talked about it. And the best way I could do that was to do the vlogs. I never did say goodbye to Yvonne or her daddy or Wade. I never did say goodbye. Why? It's not goodbye. I left the house, not them. And the most incredible thing is that the new owners keep thanking me for what I did to help them. It's amazing. So what can I say? And how about this one? The fact that someone else loves you doesn't rescue you from the project of loving yourself. How about that one? In fact, the opposite is true. If somebody loves you, it is your responsibility to make sure that you are looking after yourself the best way you know how. I want to give a heads up to Jody again. For those of you who don't know, Jody is also our admin, and she spends so much of her day caring about everybody. But what I heard this week is she was taking the time to do something creative for herself. Well done, Jody. I know how busy you are doing all sorts of things. I know how busy you are helping me. And so, to me, this is like, well done. You took some time to be creative. That's looking after you. Mae West, that famous actress from way back when, said, we must fall in love with ourselves. And she said, I don't like myself. I'm crazy about myself. Don't you think that's gorgeous? I don't like myself. I'm crazy about myself. When I wake up in the morning, I go, good start, Sal. You woke up. Well done. And then, as I try to get from my bed to the washroom, I must admit that it takes a little while for my bones to sort of decide to all work in the same direction. And I'm going, you're pretty good. You made it to the bathroom. That's pretty good. Now try standing straight. Oh yeah, that's a bit more of a problem. But you can do this. Stand straight. Good, 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 good. Now you can pee. Not standing straight. But I literally have this conversation with myself. All right, so wow, that's interesting. Erin's also saying that when she goes to the dentist, she has to go to sleep every time because she cannot hold her mouth open. Interesting, yeah. And it's much easier for them to work on somebody who's sedated as well, Erin. Yeah, and with two back teeth like this one's already cracked all the way. It's fallen apart, quite honestly. But this one, is still intact, but they need to huck it. And so, it's easier for them to have you asleep than it have you awake. It means I'm going to have somebody with me to drive me home. But, I guess I'll find a new friend. Or it's cool, get a taxi. Well, Niash is saying, if you and the new owners become friends, they'll invite you over. And you'd see Yvonne again. I can see Yvonne anytime I want to. It's up to Yvonne and I to make sure that happens. And I text her all the time because, it's just like, I just talk to her. Judith's saying, I've got worse as I got older. I can't seem to sit still or keep my mouth open. I can't keep my mouth shut, Judith, as I found out at dinner last night. Yeah. All right. And Jody's saying, my goal is to think about myself as kindly as Sal speaks about me. Yeah, and I'm biased. Have I ever had reflexology on my feet? What a great idea. Yes, I have. I've also done Reiki, that thing. I did that on my body once when they thought I had a cancer problem. I can remember that I actually said, okay, let me do everything I know how to treat my body well and see if I can stop this. But I think what I'm going to do, and it's on my list, that was the other thing that's on my list for this week, to make an appointment to get to a chiropractor. All right. Because I think maybe a lot of what's going on is due to the fact that my spine is out of alignment again. And I'm having problems, as you know, and it's got a lot worse since I was moving, lifting my left knee. I used to be able to lift it up to counter height. I can only lift it now about 3/4 of the way, and it's painful. My right leg, I can get up to the counter. So I thought, I want to get to the chiropractor and have her just, put a few things back in place. I thought it helped. Kez is saying, you made me realize I need to be my own cheer squad since you are being your own and how happy it makes you doing that. Well, it took me a lot of learning. I've got to say that, Kez, it didn't come easily. Wow, isn't that interesting? Beth's saying that when her, what is the TMJ? It's something or other jaw, right? It's a, just remind me, Beth, because I know what it is, but I can't remember. Anyway, she's saying when the specialist took the x-ray of her jaw, it was then that the x-ray showed the abnormalities in her brain. And that's when they found out she had MS. So I don't care for dentists. Yeah, I understand that. Do you know, it was when I went to the chiropractor. Did I tell you about that, Beth? What happened to me when I went to the chiropractor? Oh, that's sad. Lauren's saying that she just had to give the news to the postman about puddles passing. And that's okay, Lauren, totally understand. Okay, so Lauren, Beth, I went to a chiropractor because I was having a bit of a problem walking. And so they did those heat x-rays, right? And they kept trying to straighten me so they could take the x-ray. And they'd walk away and then they'd try and straighten me to take the x-ray. Well, it turned out they could not get my spine in one x-ray. They had to do two. And the reason was, I've still got the negative here somewhere. And if I can find them, I'll actually show you guys. The reason they couldn't do it is because my spine went like that. And the reason they couldn't take one x-ray is they could not get this bit into the main x-ray. That's how bad. It's not quite as bad as that, obviously, but basically that's what happened. And then when they took the heat x-ray, it comes up green where your nerve endings are doing the right things. And then, in other ones that there were reds, that's where it's not doing oranges and then reds. And then I noticed there were an awful lot of black ones, and I'm going, what's with the black? Does it just not register? And I said, no, the black is when it is so bad that it goes off the scale. And I said, that's most of mine. And I remember the chiropractor looking at me and she said, I know that you're a special person. And I said, what? And she said, you walked in here and said, I don't want to be a wuss, but I'm having a little bit of problem walking. Did I quote you correctly? And I said, yeah. And she said, let me tell you as a chiropractor what my question to you is. How the heck are you walking? And she said, I cannot believe what I see on that x-ray, and I cannot believe you're walking. Never mind, I'm having a bit of a problem walking. She said, you haven't got a bit of a problem, you have got a major problem going on, and you shouldn't be walking. And technically, you should not be walking because it's too painful. And I said, so I'm not being a wuss then? And she said, no. Your spine isn't. Anyway, it took me close to 2 years to get it working again, so I need to go back. And how about this one? Falling in love with yourself first does not make you vain or selfish. It makes you indestructible. All right? When you love yourself, you are giving yourself an armor. All right? You are giving yourself a defense. Thank you, Jody. A self-defense mechanism. All right, so Judith is saying, yikes, thankfully I have no back issues at all.
From Galaxy S8.
That's Alexa. she butts in all over the place, and I have no. Did anybody understand what she said? Because I don't understand what she says. She talks to me quite a bit. I don't know why. I keep phoning the people and saying, "Why is she talking to me?" I don't know why. But it's sort of interesting. I just don't know why she's talking to me. And they say she won't talk to you unless you told her to. I said, "Oh, I wasn't telling her." um, anyway, so can I claim Alexa as a dependent? What a good idea. Yeah. And the funny thing is, when you talk to the Alexa people, they said just turn it up so you can hear her better. And I said, it's not the volume that's the problem. I can't understand her accent. And if somebody else is in the house and she talks, I go, did you understand it? And do you think I can get anybody? Do you think I can get anybody to ring my doorbell? Marnie will do it for me. You heard her say something about Galaxy. Really? Interesting. What day is it? 17th? 16th? Isn't 17th the day we go, oh yeah, that's what Jody nagging me about. I need to do the countdown. I still haven't added Christmas in. I haven't done the follow-ups, have I? Okay, here we go, people. For those of you who enjoy the countdown and those of you who don't, get over it. US Thanksgiving, 9 months and 13 days away. I agree with you, Lauren, saying there need to be various voices that you could choose. I don't necessarily want a woman. I think I would hear a man's voice more clearly. She's in the range that I can't get anymore because of my loss of hearing. Canadians' Thanksgiving is just 7 months and 28 days away. It's not very far. For those of you who celebrate Easter, you've got 1 month and 25 days to go. And for those of us who enjoy spring, it is just 31 days away. And Lauren, autumn is coming. Just 31 days for you. Kez, where are you? I think you're in the US, right? Daylight savings time, we were putting the clocks forward in just 20 days. Yes. For those of you who want to borrow something, Lent is 9 days away. Huh. Okay, Mercury, goes into retrograde tomorrow and stays there until March 10. All right. We've done, all right, the rest of it, I've got to update everything. I've moved, I own the house, I moved. Christmas, all right, the rest of it I need to update. And I don't know how to get rid of ones I want to get rid of. It's very strange. I know how to add them, I just don't know how to get rid of them. Yeah, you can't change the voice, unfortunately. You can change the language, but you can't change the voice. Lent is on the 29th. I can borrow something again. What does Mercury in retrograde mean? Well, I think it means that we get to blame everything on Mercury being on retrograde when it normally means that funny things happen. Expect the unexpected. And what happens is, for those of us who understand that Mercury is going away from us, it's in retrograde. It sort of pulls the energy with it, Judith. And so funny things happen. And what happens is, all during that time, Jody particularly knows that I spend most of the time going, are we still in retrograde? Because some funny stuff is happening. And then, yeah, we're still in retrograde. Okay, fine. And then, at last it starts to come into whatever the opposite is, ascendance, I would think. Do we know what the opposite? Alexa, what is the opposite of retrograde?
Retrograde's antonyms are prograde, ameliorate, and contemporary.
Did she say prograde? I didn't know that. Yeah. Judith says the same thing. We say that about the full moon at school when the kids are going crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Oceans get pretty rough and stuff. Does it affect the planets, sun and moon? Yeah. You just have a look. Just ask Mr. Google, what is Mercury in retrograde, and read up about it if you're interested. The same as I did, right? And it really is quite interesting in my view. Now, it is time for me to go. And so I just want to give you a reminder that, your life will be as happy as you choose to make it. And you will be as happy. It is prograde. Okay, that's what I thought she said. You will be as happy as you choose to make yourself. Do not wait for somebody else to make you happy. Do not wait for somebody else to entertain you. Entertain yourself. We are here supporting one another, and I really thank you. I've got, as you know, probably a year's worth of unpacking to do, and I am just working at it bit by bit every day. By the way, I got some kitchen stuff where I was down to 2 boxes of junk in my kitchen. And what I had to do is bring some cubies out and go into definite garbage, possible garbage. I don't want to get rid of it, and then because it was just horrific. I kept sorting it and not doing anything with it. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, Jody, for mentioning that. We do love it when everybody's here. I hope that this broadcast has helped you a little bit. Let's concentrate on loving ourselves. And by the way, if there's anything you would like support in, like I have a support about getting to the dentist and also, getting my A1C done and getting to the chiropractor, right? Why have I asked for support on that? Because I know that none of them is an erotic experience for me, right? None of them is something I want to particularly do, but I need to do them. Right. So Niash is saying the skills have helped me to become responsible. I'm so thankful to you, all of you guys. See you next Friday. Yes, Niash, we look forward to it. Jody's saying we all love you, Sal. It's so easy to do. Yeah, accountability. You see, Judith, I know that the way I'll get it done is to hold myself accountable to you guys, right? I might not do it being accountable to myself, and that if that makes me a bad person, so be it. I'm just a human. But I do know that if I've told you that you will be following up and you will have your 2x4s out next week going, did you? And I will need to let you know whether I did or not. And that will help motivate me. You see, I love myself enough to share it with you. And the same thing as I know that I can share my movement with Grampy because he genuinely, I didn't realize it, he genuinely cares about me at a really deep level. And so much so, he said to me yesterday, when are you taking a day off, Beth? He's nagging me to take a day off as well. And I said, well, as far as I can see, I think it's Thursday. Because I realized I'm doing something today, which is the broadcast. I'm seeing Marnie tomorrow. Tuesday, I've got something else happening. Tuesday, I have to go buy a television. Wednesday, the guy's coming to fix the internet problem and help me with the TV. So that's why I got to go buy TV. And then, do any of you have a TV on a mantelpiece? I want to know what's the best one. And then Thursday, I'm thinking I might take a day off. And today, last night, Jody will tell you, I bailed out very early last night, early for me, and I went to sleep and I slept nearly 10 hours. You see, that's how tired I really am when I give myself permission to be honest on that. I slept nearly 10 hours and I knew I needed it. And so I know I've got some catch up to do. It's not just that I wasn't sleeping well. I did sleep well, but I pushed myself a lot. And so I need to give my body some regeneration time. Lauren, thank you for being so honest with us this week about your sadness and what you were going through. It helped us help you. And I'm really proud of how you are processing it and what you are doing. I am so proud of you. Jody, I know that even with all the pain you were going through, you still did so much to honor Lionel for Valentine's Day. And I think that is just so gorgeous. And thank you so much for sending me a Valentine's Day card. I thought that was just priceless, but typically you. And I thank you for that. To all of you who are here, remember, we are here to support one another. It's not just that I know it all, because I don't. My job is to keep finding the topics you'd like me to talk about so that we can talk about them in the open. I want to really thank Erin for asking us about the drama issue, because I think it's a big one for a lot of people. To recognize where the draining drama is and how do I stop it. And we will try and find not only a skills broadcast on it, but some humor around it for the Friday evening. And then we'll try and find some nice soul things that we can do around it as well. And that way we will have a whole weekend talking about it. Thank you for the help on that one, Erin. We're always looking for great topics that will help us. And it's not that it helps you, it helps everybody. That's what I want you to understand. Talking about love doesn't just help one person, it helps everybody. And when we can see that the most important person we can love is ourselves, then we have grown. So I'm off to go get something to eat that will be fairly healthy, not perfectly healthy. And then I will also try and do a quick video to tell you about what happened at the community get together yesterday. Yeah, it was interesting. So this is DearMamaSal saying, I love you. I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's weekend. And if you didn't, it's on you. If you understand what I'm saying. You know, if you spent Valentine's Day feeling sorry for yourself because you're alone, I went out and met people. All right. I did not sit at home feeling sorry for myself. I actually went out and met people and, you know, just took the time and the effort. I also was some exercise. I didn't take the car. I walked there and I walked back. And by the way, they had plenty of ice by the time I'd finished with them. I didn't even have to take the machine. I realized I could just bag it up and take it down there, which is what I did. So this is DearMamaSal saying, remember to love one another, because we do. But most of all, remember to love yourself. So this is always challenging for me, this bit. So bye-bye for now.